Hi there, my name's Caitlin Bandy and this is my channel BandysBooks. I can't believe it. July went so fast and really this whole year in general is just flying by. So for my August TBR, I'm going to be doing something just a little bit different this month. I, in the past, have usually themed out TBRs, but I've found that the last few months I've been just kind of wanting to read as the mood strikes instead of like picking, all historical fiction or all fantasy or all nonfiction. I'm just enjoying reading a variety of things. And in particular, I have a lot of books to clear off my Netgalley shelf. So as I was looking at what I wanted to read this month, I found out that Netgalley has a bingo event going on for the summer. And when looking at the bingo card, I realized that there was quite a few things that I could use to kind of clear off some of the books on my Netgalley shelf. So this month, I am going to be focusing again on my Netgalley shelf. But I think after this month, I'll be at a pretty good place with my requests versus what I've reviewed. And then the following month, I'll go back to kind of focusing a little bit more on my shelves at home. So I'm going to pop up my Netgalley bingo card over here so you can kind of see the prompts as I go through them. I'm not going to pick out a book for every single prompt. I have picked books for certain ones, but some of them you can't really pick in advance. So the first thing on the Netgalley bingo card is to update your profile. So I will start August by updating my Netgalley profile so we can cross that off right away. And then the next column is going to be a 5-star read. So I won't know what a 5-star read is until I read it. Since these are all new books, I don't even have kind of an inkling of what's going to be a 5-star read. I mean, I have a couple guesses, but really I won't know until I get into them. Then we have a category for author you've read before. So I picked out Thornhedge by Kingfisher. I read A House with Good Bones earlier this year. In fact, that was also a Netgalley book for me. And so I was really excited when I got the opportunity to get a copy of Kingfisher's newest release. So that'll be an author I have read before. And then there is a section called Listen Now audiobooks. So the thing that's kind of cool with Netgalley is they have some options for listen now or read now where you don't actually have to go through an approval process. So when I get to that, I'm gonna just see what's available and pick one out at that point. And then the oldest book on your Netgalley shelf. So I have 2 books that are old. I went through a period with Netgalley like 2 years ago where I requested a handful of books and then I kind of just forgot about it. It was before I'd really gotten into using Netgalley. And so I have 2 books. I have The Necklace by Matt Witten and I have How to Be Eaten by Maria Adelmann. Both of those books were books that I requested a long time ago. They've actually since been archived, but because I requested them, I want to make sure I go back and review them. The next prompt is favorite color on the cover. So I'm going to be reading for this one, The Book of Fire by Christy Lefteri. She's the author of The Beekeeper of Aleppo, and she has a new release coming out, I believe, in 2024. I do have an e-copy of this one, and the cover is just stunning. It's a lot of bright reds and oranges, which red is one of my favorite colors, so that really stood out to me. So that's going to be the pick for that one. And then the next prompt is raise your feedback ratio. So if you're unfamiliar with Netgalley, the way that it works is that you request advanced copies, either audio or ebook, from different authors and publishers. And then you get approved for those. And then you're supposed to leave a review giving, feedback on what you liked and disliked about the book. So you have a reviewer percentage based upon how many open requests you have and how many fulfilled requests you have. So fulfilled meaning you've written and posted your review for it. So my current feedback ratio is at 50%. It's not terrible. It's definitely been worse in the past. I've been working very, very hard to make sure I'm clearing off the books on my shelf. I got a little bit bogged down earlier in this year. And the reason that it's actually at 50 right now, it was a little bit higher, was because I requested some new books coming out in the fall and the winter. So that's actually brought it back down a little bit. So my goal is to bring it as close to 80% as possible. 80% is kind of the suggested feedback ratio. There's some publishers that will not send you ARCs if you have less than an 80% review ratio, which I totally understand. They only have so many copies that they can give away for free. And so they want to give it to people that they feel that they're going to get feedback from. So I, like I said, am really dedicated to reviewing all the books that I've requested. So I want to get this back up closer to that 80% mark. The next category on this board is outside your comfort zone. So I picked a dark academia compilation of short stories. So if you've been following this channel, you'll know that I've tried dark academia a couple times, but it's really not my favorite genre. I've read a variety of authors. I would say probably the most successful dark academia that I've read has been Babel by R.F. Kuang. But even with that, like, it was cool, it was well written, it was better than some of the other dark academia I've read, but it's still not my favorite genre. And so it's a bit outside of my comfort zone. And so I found this short story compilation called In These Hallowed Halls. It's got ML Rio, it's got Olivie Blake, it's got JT Ellison, a bunch of really well-known dark academia authors. The thing that's cool about it being a short story compilation is that I can read one short story at a time. I don't have to like read a whole entire book in one sitting. So I'm gonna see if I enjoy dark academia in that format just a little bit more. After that, we have a BIPOC author. And so I picked Holler Child by Latoya Watkins. This is also a short story compilation. And I think that this has a lot to do with current social issues, race, fitting in where you live, all that kind of stuff. And I'm really looking forward to getting into this. This was actually a book that I put on my book of the month August predictions. Even though I don't think they feature short stories a lot, it was one of those books that I would really love to see them feature. Next category is to listen to an audiobook in the Netgalley Shelf app. So I picked up Starling House by Alix E. Harrow. I have read a couple of her books before, and I actually have one of them coming up this month that I'm planning to read. And so I was really excited to receive an audio copy of Starling House, and it is already loaded in my Netgalley shelf in my app, so I will definitely be listening to that one there. And then we have a category for a LGBTQIA main character. So I have The Spirit Bears Its Teeth by Andrew Joseph White. This is the author of Hell Followed With Us. I read that a couple months back, and Hell Followed With Us was a dystopian look at the world where there's like a plague, and then a religious fanatical group takes over and is like basically enforcing biblical law, killing people off. It was a wild book, and it was really graphic and dark, but very interesting. The concept was super unique. So I was excited to receive a copy of The Spirit Bears Its Teeth, and I'm sure that this is going to be a dark but fun read. Then we have a category for reviewing right after finishing. I don't know which book that will be. I usually will like kind of let my reviews back up, so I'll finish like 5 to 10 books and then I'll sit and like binge rate all my reviews. But in this case, it says to read a book and then review it like right when you're done. So I won't know in advance what that's going to be. And then we have a book that's publishing in 2024. So I picked out The Foxwife by Yangzhe Choo. She is the author of The Night Tiger, and I have not read that book. I am familiar with it. I actually have it on my shelf somewhere here, and I've been meaning to read it for a while. But this particular book sounded really interesting, and I believe this publishes like in the spring of 2024. So I figured that would be a good selection for this. So then we have a category for adding a publisher to your favorites. I don't actually have any publishers saved in my favorites, which I probably should because there's a handful of publishers for sure that I really enjoy requesting books from. And then the next category is to subscribe to Netgalley YouTube. I am not subscribed to Netgalley YouTube yet. I actually didn't even know that Netgalley had a YouTube, so I'm excited to check that out. And then it says to share a review on TikTok. So I, thus far, have really not engaged too much in TikTok. I've just not really been into like the shorts, reels, TikTok kind of thing. For whatever reason, like the short form video format is not my favorite. But I do have a TikTok, and I actually did upload a video the other day, and I've been kind of slowly trying to work my way into it. So this will be a challenge for me to try and get a short/TikTok posted. And then we have a category for a read now book. So just like the listen now audiobook, this is the same concept where you just find the list of books that are like immediately available, and then you can read whichever one. So when I get to that point, I will pick one out. Then we have a category for friend picks a book. So I think for this category, I'm gonna have Oz choose one of the books off of my already like requested books. So a little later in the month, I'll just have him kind of scroll through, see what book strikes his eye, and that'll be the one that I read for my friend's pick. And then we have a new to you audiobook narrator. So I have a copy of The Peach Seed by Anita Gail Jones sitting in my audiobook shelves. I actually just received my copy of it like 2 days ago. And Anita Gail Jones actually narrates the book herself. So I've never heard her narrate a book before, and so she is a new to me audiobook narrator. And then we have a category for a debut author. I'm gonna be reading After the Forest by Kell Woods. This is a fantasy horror vibe, I think, and it is a debut. So I'm looking forward to checking this out. I always love reading debuts because it's so much fun to find new authors, ones that you vibe with, ones where you're like, I know I'm gonna read this person again in the future. And then our last 3 categories are comic or graphic novel. So I don't really typically gravitate towards comics or graphic novels. It's just really not my cup of tea. However, for the sake of this challenge, I will try to find one that I might be interested in. At this point, I don't know what that's going to be, but we will see what I find when I scan through Netgalley. Then we have create a list on Netgalley. I don't think I've done that before either, so something new to learn about Netgalley. And then review the Book Advocate Toolkit. So the Book Advocate Toolkit is just kind of like the rules and regulations around, you know, requesting books, what they're looking for, you know, how you can be a good promoter of books and publishing and all that kind of stuff. So I'm really looking forward to participating in this challenge this month and clearing some of the books off of my Netgalley shelf. It's been so exciting getting to read advanced copies of books that are coming up and like being able to hype the books that I'm really enjoying. I am looking forward as August progresses to doing more book reviews and maybe some short book reviews as well, so that I can kind of express some love for some of the books that I've been reading lately, because there's been some really cool ones that are coming out soon. So in addition to my Netgalley Bingo card, I also have a couple other things going on this month. I am buddy reading a book with my friend Allie over at AllieLovesToRead. So I'm very excited about that. I'll be talking about that during the end of the month. And Hannah from Savage Reads is picking out 3 books for me. I have no say in what those books are. It's going to be a big surprise. I'm very much looking forward to it because she picks out amazing books and her book reviews are so good. I seriously add so many books to my list based on her recommendations. So I can't wait to see what she picks out for me. And then if I have time after those things are taken care of, I may try to pick up 1 or 2 of the books off of my bookshelf, because I have so many books just here in my house that I have picked up for various reasons and have not finished reading or have not even touched yet. And so I just want to continually make sure that I am trying to read things. And if I'm not going to keep them, like if they're not a 4-star, more pass them forward to other libraries, or little free libraries or whatever, just so that, you know, I can make sure that there's room for the books that I really, really love, and that the books that I don't love, that maybe I can pass them forward to somebody who will really love them. So that being said, that's my plans for August. I hope you liked this video. I know it's a little bit different than usual. If you did, hit the thumbs up. Comment down below. Let me know, what are your reading plans for August? Or if you're not like a planned reader, what are you starting your August with? Like, do you have a book that you're already in the middle of, or a book that you're going to be reading in the next week or so? And if you're not already subscribed to this channel, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button down below, as well as the notification bell, so that you never miss a video. And that way we can see each other again soon. Thanks so much for joining. Bye.